It's 11 trivia questions on What's the Theme with my friend and first podcast guest ever, Nate Weatherup. It's a real fun episode. Let's see if you can figure out the theme like Nate did. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thanks for checking out my show, and if you like trivia, you're in the right place. Today's episode is a fun little chat with my comedian buddy, Nate Weatherup, who used to host trivia for me in LA at a place called Pocock Brewing Company in Santa Clarita, California, and Nate now travels the world doing comedy on cruise ships and at comedy clubs and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's good to catch up with him and hear some of his travel stories and to hear what trivia is like on a cruise ship. So get ready for our little chat. We also do a quiz called What's the Theme, which was written by listener and subscriber Brian Salyer. So Brian wrote 10 questions and he came up with one way that they're all in common, and you have to try and figure out what that commonality is along with Nate. So have fun playing along with that. If you want to support this show, the easiest way to do it is patreon.com/trivia with buds. We're up to 37 patrons, I believe, which is very, very exciting and very, very fun for me. 37 patrons. When I get to 50 patrons, I do have this goal over on the left-hand side. When I get to 50, I will surprise every patron with a pop culture item based on a franchise they like. So we're pretty close to that, guys. If you want to help everybody get something very cool in the mail, you can join, have a friend join, have a family member join, and help us get up to 50 patrons. If we do that, I will do a little email to every single person and say, what do you like? And you'll go, I'm really into Star Trek. And I'll go, okay, I'm going to get you some Vulcan ears or something like that. And I'll send them to you. Maybe you'll go, oh, you know what I like? I like water polo. And then I'll go, okay, I got to figure out a whistle or something to send you that is water polo related. Or maybe you love flowers, like my daughter Annabelle. She loves sunflowers. Maybe I'll send you some seeds in the mail to plant your own flowers. That would be a nice thing for somebody who likes to garden, wouldn't it? I think it would. So jump on board. If you're not a Patreon member, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, like my friend Rich just reached out to me and said he goes, hey, I've been listening to the show for a while, and I finally decided to jump on the Patreon bandwagon. If you're like Rich and you want to jump on board and get some cool stuff in the mail in the form of video rewards and DVDs mailed to you and signed Sharknado headshots and things like that, just be on the lookout for messages from me if you join our Patreon page, patreon.com/trivia with buds. All right, we're going to jump into this episode. It's all about fun. What's the theme questions? Let's see if you can figure out that theme along with my friend Nate. Here we go. Sitting here on a phone call with my good friend and the very first guest on this podcast ever, almost 3 years ago, Mr. Nate Weatherup. What's up, Nate?
What's going on, Ryan? How are you?
I'm good, man. You are quite the world traveler. You are a comedian who's constantly doing a lot of cruise ships. So tell me a little bit about that.
It's pretty great. I've been in like 5 time zones already this year. I've been to like 7 different countries. So in Alaska last month, and I'm heading back up there in like 3 more weeks.
Holy cow, yeah. So you post like the best pictures and videos, and I feel like I've never been on a cruise, but I feel like when I follow you on social media, I feel like I'm getting a little hint of what that would be like.
That's honestly like kind of what I do it for, but mostly it's just so my mom sees that I'm okay. That's really like all of the pictures are just like, see, I'm having fun. It's okay, Mom.
There you go. That's perfect. Mrs. Weatherup's got to be aware of her baby boy's surroundings. So there you go.
Exactly.
Very cool, man. A little bit more background on you. We met in Chicago doing stand-up, I want to say at least 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, something like that. And when you moved out to LA a couple years ago, you actually hosted some trivia for me. And kind of your home base location was a place called Pocock Brewing Company in Santa Clarita, California, where they still ask about you. They're like, where's Nate? When's Nate coming back?
I know. I love them and I miss them. And I can't wait to get back.
Well, I'm sure some of them are going to listen to this episode. So they'll be happy to hear your voice. And Cam Malador.
To be fair, I was planning on going back a couple of months ago. And then my uncle died which was really rude and ruined all of my plans. So if anybody from Pocock is mad at me, it's really not my fault.
All right. Well, we're all sorry for your loss, but we'll be happy to welcome you back anytime you want to visit. And Cam Malidor, who played when you were there quite a bit, he's kind of taken over since you've been gone and built it up quite a bit himself. So shout out to Cam, and thanks to Nate, for kind of setting the mainstream example of like when I can't be at a trivia night, I'm like, I hope it goes well. And then like when I have guys like you, I'm like, oh, I don't even have to worry. You know what I mean? Because you just do such a great job.
Oh, yeah. It was so much fun. I miss it all the time.
Very cool. Do you ever get to play trivia on any of these cruise ships you're on?
Yeah, a little bit. I've actually gotten to know some of the cruise directors that do it. So when I find out what's going on, I'll go sit. And like, I don't play because it's just me. But I'll sit in the back and judge people for getting stuff wrong.
There you go. Pretty cool. Do you find it to be tougher, similar, easier than trivia nights you're used to?
I mean, it all depends. Like some of the rounds with your trivias, I didn't even know what I was saying. I was repeating with it. I was like, yeah, this is common knowledge. Everyone knows this, but
that's great. That's why comedians are great hosts.
The flavor of yours.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's why comedians make great hosts for stuff like this, because even if we don't know what we're saying, we can at least kind of bullshit it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
I would always love it when somebody corrects what I was saying. They're like, actually, it's pronounced. I'm like, actually, I don't care. They got it wrong. I don't.
I'm with you 100%. One last little thing. You were the very first ever guest. You and another friend of ours named Ken Garr did some Chicago White Sox and Ghostbusters trivia on this show back when the very first ever episode. And I think you won.
I believe I did.
To be fair, though, Ken thought that the show was like talking points. He didn't realize it was trivia based. So when he gave me like some topics for the show, it was like dating in LA. And I'm like, what? How am I supposed to write trivia questions on this? And
that's his fault. It was literally called Trivia with Bud. Like if he didn't realize it was going to be trivia based.
I guess you're right. All right. Speaking of trivia, we're going to jump into 10 questions right now. This is a classic What's the Theme round, which you've hosted and played many times, where I ask 10 random questions and you have to figure out what all the answers have in common. And this was written by a listener and a pal named Brian Salyer from Redlands, California. So last time Brian sent me one of these, I think I figured it out on the podcast, and I thought it would be fun to have a buddy try and figure it out. So I'm glad I got to catch you in between cruises. And how many of these do you think you're going to get out of 10? And do you think you're going to get the theme right without knowing anything about it?
Oh, God, no. Especially after you're like, yeah, and I got the last one. So I'm like, oh, God, I'm already screwed. If you got the last one.
All
what
right.
a perfect setup for failure.
We'll see.
I think I'm going to get 7.
7? That's pretty good. All right. We'll see if you can get 7 out of 10. And do you have a pen and paper to kind of write these down?
I do.
Okay, cool. Because it helps when you can kind of look at what you think the answers are and then try and figure it out. So here we go. This is question number 1. So if you know the answer, don't say it yet. Just kind of write it down and think to yourself. Here's number 1. Who played Rick Blaine in a classic 1942 film? Character's name is Rick Blaine, and it's a classic 1942 film.
I would like to revisit the number correct that I thought I was going to get and lower it.
All right, that's number 1 on your list. Here comes question number 2. What 1976 Martin Scorsese film starred Robert De Niro and a very young Jodie Foster? You feel good about that one?
No.
Okay. Number 3. What TV show ran for 5 seasons and starred Adrian Zmed, Heather Locklear, and William Shatner?
What?
One of these you're going to get, and then you'll be able to kind of work backwards. Number 3, again, what TV show ran for 5 seasons and starred Adrian Zmed, Heather Locklear, and William Shatner? Question number 4. Carol O'Connor won 4 Emmys for lead actor in a comedy series for playing what character? You know that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's one, at least. Carol O'Connor, 4 Emmys, what character? Write down the character's name. Number 5, what number did Peyton Manning wear in the NFL? See, this is one I would not know, but I bet you know.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay. Number 5, what number did Peyton Manning wear in the NFL? Question number 6, who sung the theme song, Man in Motion, for the 80s movie St. Elmo's Fire? Maybe this is too hard.
Yeah, perhaps, Ryan.
Oh, boy.
The fact that one of these answers is a number means that even the ones that I have right, like, there's no theme.
All right, we'll just see if we can try and figure it out, and then the listener will have fun with this one. Number 6, who sung the theme song Man in Motion for the 80s movie St. Elmo's Fire? Number 7, what...
You're a real dick, bud.
I didn't write them. What 1999 animated movie featured Vin Diesel as the voice of a robot? I bet you've seen this movie. Number 7, 1999 animated movie, Vin Diesel, voice of a robot.
I got one.
There you go. Number 8, what is the capital of Maine? Number 8, what's the capital of Maine? 2 questions left. Number 9, what color hat does Goofy traditionally wear? And number 10, what Fox sci-fi series starring Anna Torv and Joshua Jackson ran from 2008 to 2013? What Fox sci-fi series starring Anna Torv and Joshua Jackson ran from 08 to 13? Those are your 10 questions. Number 11, obviously, is what's the theme? So I'll give you just a second here to kind of look at all those answers and kind of talk it out loud with the ones you got right and try and maybe make an educated guess. So go ahead.
Most of them involve 2-word answers.
Okay. Say some of the answers that you think you got. Just kind of like say those out loud.
No, I don't want to do this. I don't want this to be out there on the internet embarrassing me for all eternity. Was one of them Taxi Driver?
One of them is Taxi Driver.
And one was Archie Bunker?
One is Archie Bunker.
Okay. So both of them end in
That is true for that
Driver
sentence.
in a bunker. Oh, there's golf stuff. Ha!
You think you got that, and we'll find out in just a second. I'm going to read you the answers now to all the questions. So if you were... Nate is very excited. If you were playing along at home, let's see if you got it along with Nate. Here's question number 1. Who played Rick Blaine in a 1942 classic film that was Humphrey Bogart? Humphrey Bogart. Number 2, what 1976 Martin Scorsese film starred Robert De Niro and a very young Jodie Foster? Taxi Driver. You got that one. Nice job, Nate. Number 3, what TV show ran for 5 seasons and starred Adrienne Zemed, Heather Locklear, and William Shatner? That was called T.J. Hooker. T.J. Hooker. Number 4, Carol O'Connor won 4 Emmys for playing Archie Bunker. Number 5, what number did Peyton Manning wear in the NFL? Number 18. Number 18. Number 6, who sung the song Man in Motion for the 80s movie St. Elmo's Fire? That was John Parr. Number 7, Vin Diesel was the voice of a robot in Iron Giant. Number 8, Augusta is the capital of Maine. Number 9, Goofy usually wears a green hat. And number 10, the Joshua Jackson Fox series was Fringe. And those are all terms and things that have to do with golf. Nate, you got it. Well done. You only got like 3 questions right, but you still got the theme, which is
hilarious.
Very hard to do.
I got Bunker, Driver, Iron Giant, and Green.
There you go. That's all you need sometimes.
Yeah.
Very
also,
good stuff.
I'm going to say Bogart is a bit of a stretch for Bogey. Like, I
guess,
get it. That was his nickname sometimes.
Yeah. So here's some parentheticals that Brian put. He put nickname bogey or a bogey in golf. Taxi driver, a driver's used off the tee. TJ Hooker, a player that hits it to the right or left, is a hooker. Is that a thing? If you hook it to the left, they call you a hooker?
You hook. No, but I've never once heard somebody like, yeah, he's a real hooker.
Not on the golf course, at least. Bunker is another word for sand trap. 18 holes for Peyton Manning. Par, obviously par. Iron, like irons and woods. Augusta is that Masters tournament location. Green for the hat and the green. And Fringe is the area around the green. So great job, Nate, and well done, Brian. Really good questions, very challenging and kind of fun to figure out.
Brian.
Awesome. Nate, where can people find you online if they want to see your cruise and comedy exploits?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Nate Weatherup, weather like outside, up. Type in my name. I will show up on the internet.
Very cool, man. I miss you, and I hope to see you very soon in California or Chicago.
Yeah, man. Miss you too.
All right. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Boom. There it was. A fun little chat with Nate Weatherup from Chicago. He lives in Logan Square. If you want to see him do stand up around the city, just search his name, Nate Weatherup, and you'll find a list of his shows. And if you plan on going on a cruise anytime soon, try and coordinate it to see Nate on a cruise ship. He's a very funny dude and a great friend. It's time for the trivia question of the day and our trivia team name of the day. The first thing we're going to do is that team name, and your trivia team name of the day is it cheating if we use Bing? Is it cheating if we use Bing? So there's a nice submitted team name for you. Is it cheating if we use Bing? Obviously a search engine that might not be very reliable. And your question of the day, brought to you by Funky Monkey Design of San Dimas, California. These guys are the best. Guys and gals working over at Funky Monkey, San Dimas, California, Bill and Ted headquarters of the world. And they're filming that threequel there around town, I think, sometime soon. So get ready for that. And if you need something printed, go check them out at fmdesignsinc.com. They just made me some awesome Dwight, You Ignorant Slut stickers. And I'm mailing those out to people who leave me iTunes reviews. Shout out to my friend Georgia in Australia, who just emailed me yesterday and said, hey, I sent you, I put in a review up. Can you send me a sticker? And I said, sure. It'll be there in 8 to 10 weeks or however long it takes from California to Australia. But thank you so much, Georgia, for doing that. I still have 2 stickers available for those next rewards. And also, if you join at the $1 Patreon tier, you are going to get a sticker as well that says, Dwight, you ignorant slut, from The Office. The trivia question of the day is, who did the voice of Susan, the missing link, in the 2019 animated comedy, The Missing Link? My daughter just watched this movie the other day. Who did the voice of the Bigfoot Susan in The Missing Link? Tweet me your answer at RyanBuds or email ryanbuds@gmail.com to be eligible for a prize. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show today. Thanks for telling a friend about the show, and we'll see you tomorrow for more Trivia with Buds. Cheers.